You have said the same English sentence wrong for months. Nobody corrected you. You kept saying it the same way again and again. By now that mistake feels completely natural to you. It feels right even though it is wrong. This is not bad luck. This is exactly how practice works when nobody is paying attention to what is actually happening. Most learners believe that simply doing something often enough will eventually fix it. But research on skill development tells a more complicated story. Welcome back to Gentle Wisdom, where you learn English while becoming a better version of yourself. One story, one step at a time. Today we explore an uncomfortable truth about practice. Doing something repeatedly does not automatically make you better at it. Sometimes it makes your mistakes stronger. By the end of this video, you will understand why intention matters more than repetition alone. Let's begin. Lesson 1: Practice makes permanent, not perfect. Anders Ericsson, the researcher behind the book Peak, studied how people actually improve at difficult skills. One of his central findings challenges a popular saying: practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Whatever you repeat correctly or incorrectly becomes more automatic and harder to change. This means practicing a mistake without noticing it as a mistake does not fix the problem. It quietly strengthens it, session after session. The more times you repeat something incorrectly, the more natural that incorrect version starts to feel, making it progressively harder to unlearn later. Practice with intention or practice in vain. Lesson 2: The trap of comfortable repetition. Here's why this trap is so easy to fall into. Repeating something familiar feels productive. You are doing the activity. Time is passing. It feels like practice. But if you are not paying close attention to whether you are actually doing it correctly, you may simply be rehearsing your current level, mistakes included, rather than improving beyond it. This is the uncomfortable part. The feeling of practicing and the reality of improving are not always the same thing. Ericsson found that real improvement requires feedback, some way of knowing whether what you just did was actually correct. Without feedback, practice can move in either direction, forward or backward, without you noticing which. Here is one way to test this today. Choose one English sentence you say often. Record yourself saying it, then compare it carefully to how a native speaker would say it. Notice anything that sounds different, even slightly. Lesson 3: Ben and Ieko. Think about two learners who both practice speaking English for the same amount of time each week. Ben practices comfortably. He repeats phrases he already knows in ways that feel natural to him, without ever checking whether his pronunciation or grammar is actually correct. Ieko practices differently. She records herself regularly, compares her speech to native speakers, and specifically corrects small errors as soon as she notices them. After a year, Ben has practiced consistently, but several small errors from the very beginning have become deeply embedded in how he speaks. They now feel completely natural to him, which makes them even harder to change. He is often surprised when someone finally points one out. Ieko has caught and corrected dozens of small mistakes along the way. Her English sounds noticeably more accurate, not because she practiced more but because she practiced with attention. Same amount of practice. A completely different result. practice with intention or practice in vain. Lesson 4. Practicing with intention. You do not need to practice more. You need to occasionally check whether what you are practicing is actually correct. Ericsson suggests seeking feedback regularly from a teacher, a native speaker, or even careful self-comparison, rather than assuming that repetition alone guarantees improvement. Think about what this means for your daily English practice. Repeating the same sentence 100 times without ever checking if it is correct may simply mean saying it wrong 100 times. This does not mean every single practice session needs constant correction. It means checking in occasionally, so small errors get caught before they settle in permanently. Try this today. Choose one English phrase you use often. Look it up or ask someone to confirm it is actually correct. If it is not, practice the corrected version specifically several times until it starts to feel natural instead. This one small check can prevent months of practicing the wrong version. Every moment of checked practice is worth more than an hour of unchecked repetition. Every small correction prevents a much larger habit from forming. Every intentional session builds real skill, not just familiar mistakes. So today, do not simply practice more. Practice one thing with real attention and check that it is actually correct. Practice with intention or practice in vain. You are becoming. Something has shifted in you today. The person who finishes this video is not quite the same as the one who started it. That shift is real. And it is yours to keep. If you enjoyed today's story, please like and subscribe. A new story arrives every day. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments too. Every choice shapes your life. Small habits, big results. And keep becoming. Study Corner, today's English notes. Welcome to the Study Corner. Let's review 3 useful words from today's story. The first word is permanent. In the story we heard, practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Permanent means lasting and difficult or impossible to change afterward. For example, without feedback, mistakes can become permanent through repetition. The next word is embedded. In the story, we heard how errors had become deeply embedded in how he speaks. Embedded means firmly and deeply fixed into something hard to remove. For example, old habits can become embedded if they are never corrected. The third word is feedback. In the story we heard, Ericsson found that real improvement requires feedback, some way of knowing whether what you just did was actually correct. Feedback means information about how well you are doing, used to correct or improve something. For example, regular feedback helps you catch mistakes before they become permanent. What was the most useful thing you learned today? Or is there anything you want to know more about? Share your thoughts in the comments. Small steps. Every day. You are doing well. See you tomorrow.